For anyone who is concerned that their accounts may have been frozen because of their participation in these illegal blockades and occupation, the way to get your account unfrozen is to stop being part of the blockade and occupation.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. I'm currently here in our nation's capital, Ottawa, Ontario, for perhaps one of the most important protests in the history of this nation. And I'm joined right now by Shawn Jason. He's the editor-in-chief of Druthers News. First of all, Shawn, thanks so much for taking some time to speak with us here. I've heard you've recently had your bank account frozen under this Emergencies Act. Now, I want to talk about, how they first revealed this to you. But before we get into that, maybe you could start with, why did they target you in the first place? There's around over 200 people as of today who have been targeted. Why do you think they went after Druthers?
Wow. Well, first, I want to say I love you, Dan. Thanks for doing what you do. I've known you a long time, and I really appreciate the things you bring to light. As for your question, why me? I was raising money to help the truckers, basically, and that's the sum of it. We did a fundraiser. In 3 days, we raised $150,000 to support the truckers. And I guess the powers that be the powers that ought not to be don't really like that.
I did see somewhere, I think it was on Facebook, that you had planned on doing, I think, a number of draft checks for, I think, $2,500, maybe 40 or so of them. And what was the plan there? To hand them out to the truckers?
Yeah, the plan. Well, initially the plan was this fundraiser was to hire truckers, to give them a contract, to hire them to deliver a Druthers to Trudeau's office, with the sense that would give them the legal, lawful, peaceful way to say, no, I'm not leaving. So we fundraised, and it went crazy. In 3 days, $150,000. That was going to hire, because we were not paying them a lot. It was just for the monetary exchange. So we ended up being able to hire 7,500 truckers. And so I put a cap on it, saying, oh my goodness, I don't even know if there's that many truckers. We get down here and discover there's only 400 or 500 in the Corps. So that left surplus money. So we decided with the surplus money to give it directly to the truckers who were most in need. Because some of them, we heard, were in dire straits, and they were about to leave if they weren't able to cover their bills. So went to the bank Monday, this past Monday, and asked for 40 $2,500 bank drafts, $100,000 we were going to give directly to truckers. And that's when they informed me my bank was frozen.
So at the point that you walked in there to try to get these drafts, they had already decided that had you publicly announced that you were raising money for the truckers?
Yes, I had. And publicly announced we were going to give them money. And also, the day that I went to the bank was the same day that the emergency declaration was enacted. So that probably went hand in hand. So they gave me a phone number to call. So call this number. So I call the number, it goes right to machine. I tried a handful of times, right to machine. And the machine says, leave your name and bank account number, and someone will get back to you within 3 business days. It's like, that's not very helpful. So 3 business days go by, and they call me and ask me a bunch of weird questions. But who called me? I don't even think it was BMO that called me, because they told me it's our policy. It's the compliance department, first of all. And they said it's our policy to not reveal our names. We're just agents with BMO. It was one guy first, and he says, and I'm going to patch in my colleague. And he did. That person never said a word, so I have no idea if it was male, female, anything. I don't know. But there was 2 unnamed agents for BMO. I doubt they were actually for BMO. They asked me a bunch of weird questions. I answered their questions as, minimally as I felt appropriate, because come on, just give me the money. And they said, okay, well, we're going to get back to you within 5 business days. Insane. So then 2 days ago, they called me back again and to ask a few more questions, and then said, okay, we're going to get back to you mid to next week. And that's actually when I kind of gave them a little heck, because it's my only account. It's all my money. I mean, everything's in there. It's the money for the truckers, money for Druthers, my personal money. It's all in one account. Anyway, so yeah, I gave them heck, and they said, we'll try to expedite it, but it's not up to us. We got to go to the legal team. And now I'm just waiting for another call back at this point.
So you can't currently access your own funds outside of the $100,000 that you raised. You currently have no access to any funds. If you need to get groceries or supplies or whatever, you can't access your own bank account right now?
No, that's correct. Even the one credit card that I have, it's a BMO credit card. So that's also frozen. I can't use that at all. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like they were doing this supposedly under the invocation of the Emergencies Act, but as I understand it, it's still currently being debated. So do you think this is technically lawful, what they've done to you, or is this something that you might want to fight in the future?
I'm going with the belief and faith that it is just temporary. I mean, everything that they've said, Freeland used the word temporary, these agents use the word temporary. In my account, when I log in, it shows your account's temporarily restricted, was the word they used. I really feel like this is just temporary. They're just being difficult so the money doesn't flow to the truckers, and then they're going to release it once they finish clearing out, which they've pretty much done around here in Ottawa already. So I imagine this week they'll be releasing the funds. I'm not going to get uptight. I'm not going to raise a stink unless they keep the money, but I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to return it.
So if they return it, is there still a way logistically to be able to get it into the hands of the right people?
Possibly, but I don't want to talk too much about that because this is probably going to go out before they release the money. So
where are we at in those 5 business days? Like, are you near the end of that, or?
The 5 business days, they called within less than 5 business days. It was 2 days ago they called again and said they would get back to me mid to late next week. So that's still what we're at Sunday now. So that's still, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that they might be getting back.
So essentially just making it impossible for you to do what you came here to do until you leave, and then they will get you reset up.
That's what I feel like is going to happen. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, first of all, it's incredible that you've managed to raise that much money for these guys. And I don't know if you've heard that apparently Bitcoin wallets are being monitored. I don't know how you would seize something like Bitcoin in the first place. But have you considered looking into cryptocurrencies as a way to donate now that you're being messed with by the financial institutions?
Honestly, I haven't really thought much about that. Crypto is still this mysterious nothingness that I just don't understand. I've spent a lot of hours trying to wrap my head around it. And I mean, I kind of get it, sort of, but it's still, they're just empty words. It's nothing. I don't understand it. And it feels to me that it's being all digital. They could just turn it off if they want. So how is that supportive? It's also, I feel crypto is stepping into the realm that they want us in. So I've been kind of personally resistant to doing crypto, so I haven't really considered that. If somebody can make it make sense to me, maybe I'd consider it. But at this point, I don't know. Crypto just seems like a kind of a crazy way to go to me.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, when I first started looking into it, I saw it as somewhat as a potential Trojan horse for the cashless society and to kind of rope in the libertarian-minded people. But then when you learn a little bit about the decentralization nature of the blockchain, it starts to make a little more sense. But I think that may be an interesting avenue for you guys to take, considering you may continue to be a target in the future.
That is a possibility. But what happens if they just turn off the entire internet?
Well, if they flip the switch on the internet, I think the last thing you're going to be worrying about is your bank account. I mean, your Bitcoin wallet. You'd probably be fending off the zombies at your front door with a shotgun if that happens. I don't put, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but your Bitcoin wallet will probably be the last of your worries if they do pull the plug on the internet. But anyways, still something to look into. But we don't want to get too off track. Cryptocurrencies, as you said, is a whole nother topic. But I think it may be an interesting avenue for Druthers moving forward for them to not be able to potentially mess with you. Any just kind of final thoughts here on the Emergencies Act and the fact that you are one of the over 200. There's only a couple hundred people who have been affected by this so far. Yeah. Any final thought? I mean, it's just insane that this can happen to a Canadian at this state, but.
It's insane how much has happened to Canadians, not just with this. But really, one of 200, that's kind of flattering. At the same time, it's very annoying, of course. But
you're confident they're going to get it back in time. They're just trying to push you away for now.
Yeah, they're just making things difficult. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I am just astounded. There's so many laws being broken, so many of our rights being just ripped apart. They're stripping us of our humanity in so many ways. I can't believe what I see happening here in Ottawa. It's, well, across Canada really, but especially right now here in Ottawa. It's stunning what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that, but I'm blown away by what we're seeing here.
Well, me too, and this is precisely why we need more media outlets here to cover it, to get that perspective on the ground that we're not getting from the mainstream. So if by chance, I highly doubt it, but if anybody, viewers of Press for Truth, have not yet heard of Druthers or are not familiar with it, where would you say is the best place for people to go online, or where to get subscriptions, or where should they go to learn more from you guys?
Super, yeah. Druthers.net is the main website. From there, people can donate to print the papers. I mean, the papers, that's how all this began, really. Druthers began as a newspaper in December 2020. 25,000 copies we made that month, and they went so fast. They were so well received. Here we are in our 15th month, and we've now printed, fundraised for, and printed and freely distributed across the country 3.8 million newspapers. That's a lot of seeds of thought that we've been sprinkling into Canadians. So we're making a difference, and it only cost us 10 cents to print and distribute these papers all over the country. So for every $10 somebody donates, that's 100 newspapers, seeds of thought that are put into the Canadians' hands. So it's a powerful way to support this movement in general, and they can do that from the website or at donorbox.org/Druthers. We also offer subscriptions. That's a way to support the functioning of things, because there's a shipping and handling fee. Within that, we do make a few dollars, and so when we have enough subscriptions, it actually sustains us and keeps us fed. So, and that's at druthers.net/subscribe.
Okay, well, I want to strongly encourage everybody out there to check out the links, subscribe, support these guys. This is exactly the kind of people we need on the grounds in places like this here in Ottawa, especially when the powers that ought not to be are messing with them the most, like screwing over their personal bank accounts. So check the links in the description. Make sure you support these guys moving forward. And I just want to, once again, thank you for taking the effort to come on out here to Ottawa. And I hope everything gets perfectly resolved as it should for you very soon.
Well, you too, Dan. I hear you drove 5 days to get out here and join us. That's really something. Thank you too. You're making a difference.
For sure. I appreciate that. So yeah, I want to encourage everybody to make sure you subscribe, check out the links in the description, and you keep up the great work, man.
I will. Thank you so much. All right.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.